16 minutes past 2 o'clock this afternoon. A show without a name, exclusive to Massiv Metro. Thank you for choosing us on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon, which is sunny all the way around in Johannesburg. As promised, I've got Paula Quinsee on the line. Paula, what happened? Aren't you supposed to be in studio?
I am, and I'm still waiting to come into studio. Hopefully we'll get it right next week.
Hopefully. I want to have you in the studio. How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you? And yeah, I hope the listeners are well too.
I'm good. Relationships are just showing us umgo, Paula. We are seeing flames. So we're speaking all things, the importance of relationship counseling. How do couples know if they need relationship counseling?
Well, there's two ways of looking at it. One is if your relationship is quite up and down, in other words, volatile. 1 minute you're okay, and then the next minute you are fighting. The same issues keep coming up time and time again. You feel that you're disconnected. Your communication is not all that good, and you're just not really feeling fulfilled in your relationship. So that's one way that you could start looking at potentially going for counseling. The other side, or the opposite of that, is really just a couple who feels that they want to improve things in their relationship because they've got into a bit of a rut or a routine.
Okay, I'm an E-cell. Thank you for breaking that down for us. So what is therapy supposed to accomplish?
Well, there's actually, two options when it comes to couples. The one is the traditional therapy and counseling, and the other, which is the new sort of more modern version, is about relationship coaching. Traditionally, therapy has had a negative stigma attached to it that you've got to have serious issues to be in therapy.
Yeah, especially in the black community, girl.
Exactly. Whereas nowadays, there's a lot more options available to couples. Therapy was traditionally done with a psychologist or a psychiatrist, or your minister or your pastor at your church, whereas nowadays there's more options open to couples. And the main objective is to really help couples understand what is going wrong, what do they want to fix, and then how do they go about fixing that.
I see. How can folks tell if their treatment is likely to be effective, or, heaven forbid, if it might end up warming what's good in their relationship?
And that is always the risk when you do come to therapy or coaching, especially if your relationship is in a very sort of deep, dark place. And it's a lot harder for couples to heal from whatever has been said and done or not said and not done and find a way forward. So that is always the risk, that you could go for therapy and end up walking away from each other regardless.
Because you are finding out certain things that you're not necessarily willing to look past. Is that it?
That's it, but also potentially the damage is just too much. There's too much hurt, there's too much resentment, there's too much anger, and it's just hard to come out of that space and rebuild that with your partner again.
I see what you mean. Do both partners need to go to therapy? Or, can I go by myself, hear what the therapist says, and come back and then implement it into my relationship, or it doesn't really work like that?
Ideally, we would prefer both partners to come in, because a relationship consists of two people. And the risk that can happen if only one person comes in is that they go back home and they go, he said, she said, in terms of the therapist said this or the therapist said that. Whereas if both parties are there together, they can get the knowledge firsthand, and they can help clarify any misunderstandings and or ask questions to get a deeper understanding. So we would recommend both parties to come in, but there are certain times where we would recommend that one of the partners does go for individual therapy or counseling at the same time.
I see what you mean. On the line, I've got Paula Quinsee, our relationship expert. On the other side of this, we talk last words regarding relationship counseling. If you've got any questions, do send them through. It is at Massiv Metro across all social media platforms. That's Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. Also, do send me those questions via 0749407992. I'll get Paula to answer some of them.
Yo, what's up? This is TK Lady, aka Starboy, aka Gang Gang. Hey, what's up? This is PJJ, Jordan about one time, and this is Benchmark, and you tune into Massiv Metro. Massiv Metro.
It's KB coming through with the heat on Massiv Metro. Well, 24 minutes past 2 o'clock this afternoon. Thank you for choosing us and for allowing us to ease you into your afternoon. On the line, I still do have Paula Quinsee, our relationship expert. We've got expert opinion. Paula, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Nice. So before I let you go, I've got a text message from Tembilise saying, thank you, Paula, for giving us sound advice. I would like to find out at what age should a person consider going to therapy, because I'm in my early 20s and I just feel like if I go to therapy now, chances are when I'm older, I might probably need more therapy, or how does it work?
So I think there's no one size fits all. You know, we all develop in different ages and stages and stuff, and we all have different needs. So I like to use the car analogy, in that every year we take our car in for an annual service to make sure that it's reliable and, you know, the engine is topped up and everything's working correctly. So why not do the same for ourselves in terms of our own mental and emotional well-being? So if you feel that you need therapy or want to go for coaching or just even someone to help you from a mentor or role model perspective, I absolutely believe that there's a lot of benefit that can come from it.
Nice one. Lastly, just wrapping it up, what are your last words regarding relationship counseling and the importance that holds?
You know, I think there used to be a lot of negative stigma around it, but nowadays I think there is a shift happening where people are being more open towards the benefits of therapy. I like to also look at it that, you know, we are not the expert of every area of our lives, and we all need help at some point in terms of developing skills. So constantly check in with each other in terms of what's working in your relationship, what's not working, and what needs to change to improve those areas. And if it means getting help from a relationship counselor or a therapist or a mentor, then absolutely do for it, because you're only going to set yourself up for success.
Nice one. That is Paula Quinsee, everyone. We find you on our social media platforms.
So I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, Facebook, and my website, paulaquinsee.com.
Nice one. That is Paula Quinsee coming through to you live and direct on the station that's rocking real and absolutely relevant this afternoon. Show without a name, relationship expert, resident at that. She gives us sound advice. So I'm not sucking these things up. Like, we've got a relationship expert. Are you considering maybe seeing one? Let us know.